Welcome back, everybody, to another video with Kyle Chris, and today we're going to be going over another anniversary box supported deck, which is going to be Cumber. If you guys have ever watched the channel before, this is by far my favorite deck in the game. I'm a huge Evil Saiyan fan. From the secret rare to this particular leader and archetype, I'm a huge fan, and seeing this deck finally get some good support really allows, I think this support allows the deck to be played maybe by more people. I know it's just kind of always been overshadowed being a black Saiyan leader that doesn't really focus on Overwhelm. I think it's the only black Saiyan leader that doesn't do this. Or like bursting, it doesn't really do any of that stuff. I think with black, getting this, support in the anniversary box, and honestly, if black just gets like a floodgate, like a 1-cost floodgate or something, so it can match, every other color in the game that has more than 2 floodgates, I think this deck can be a very good contender for the end of the year format, which is obviously the most important format of the year, being Nationals. So I did compile a list. I basically took the list that I've played a few different times, some regionals and everything, and just kind of updated some of the cards on the list with the new stuff and just a few other tech pieces, at least for where the format is now. Like, let's say if this anniversary box support came out very soon, kind of how the deck would play. So we'll start with the beginning, which is the Prison Planet, which is of course you need this card. This allows your Fu cards to overlord your opponent's cards with Servant, which is kind of the whole purpose of the deck, is that you have really good removal while also being able to draw cards as well. So we have 4 Evil Saiyan, thirsting for battle. This is your searcher. Top 5 for a Saiyan or a Fu that costs 6 or less. Or you get to search out Fu all according to plan, which is the unison that comes to the deck. So this being able to search out almost any Saiyan, any Saiyan under 6 cost, is crazy. It's probably the best searcher in the game, next to the Trunks that is also in this deck, because they are the only 2 searchers in the game that search out any black Saiyan that costs 6 or less. We have the new Cumber, Becoming the Strongest. This card is really good. So activate main. If your leader is a black Cumber, you choose one of your Z battle cards. You choose one of your Fu Z battle cards and place the card underneath it. You search top 7 and add a Cumber card. So any card that has Cumber in the name, and then shuffle your deck. And then activate main. If your leader is black Cumber and you have 3 more energy, you can play the Super Saiyan Cumber Berserker Barrage on top of this card, which is the 8-drop. Alright, so I didn't mention this part yet, but this is the Fu, essentially, that you play to awaken. So you play this guy, you can Z-stack a Fu, a Cumber card that costs 2 from your Z deck. But then this also has an activate main, you can play out a 2-drop Cumber from underneath this. So this allows us to play this card from underneath it, and it's a Servant. So this is a 25k body for 1 energy. That also is going to search you a card, and then it's going to draw you another card because it already has Servant. That's really, really good. Really, really good. We'll just go through the rest of the Z deck actually real quick, just because we have one copy of the Unison of Sparks Vegito. This is just to have another, just to have a Unison. This will probably get replaced by something else in the future. Currently, this is probably the last spot in your Z deck that doesn't have a spot really for anything, so we can just always switch this out for something else. 1-dimensional fighting spirit Goku for your double strike 1-drop. 1 Boo for more removal, and technically you can just make one of these 2 a second copy and just remove this if you would like to, but I just wanted to show just the variants. Not the Unison, but the Z leader, 20k body, draws a card, gives a card Servant, and then activate battle. On either turn, you can combo with up to 2 of your opponent's cards with Servant. This is really good. Back when Majin Vegeta was kind of running around, this was like a pure counter to Majin Vegeta. Just no one played it because no one wanted to play black. But this card being able to basically any of the, their double striker was not, once you're able to awaken, or Z awaken, that card was never able to, to hit you for anything. Also, like the turn after it was played, you can just bottom deck it because all of your stuff has, all of your Fus have overlords, so you just get rid of them, which is really good. So this allows you to have removal, and also the Servant effect also can be considered a lockdown effect because that card cannot restand during their opponent's during that player's charge phase, so it can't actually restand during that phase. 1 surmounting, just to allow us to get to 5 life to activate our token negates, but also to get to 3 so we can activate our Cumber if we need to. one of the new Manifestation Frenzy. This is a new one of the support cards. If your leader is Cumber and you add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, reduce the Z cost of the Z leader in your deck by 1. And reduce the Z Awaken cost of that card by 1 black. Meaning, this card now becomes a 1 energy, a 0 energy, 1 Z cost, which is, this Z leader was really good, but it was kind of a pain to get into. Now you can pay 1, play this out, and then use this in the battle step to then go into that if you're on defense. Which, this is insane. This is such a good card for the deck. And then activate main battle if your leader is the Cumber Z leader, and all of your opponent's battle cards have a total of 3 or more keyword skills. You remove this card from the game. Choose up to 1 of your Cumber cards and switch it to active mode. So this could be any of your Cumber cards, including your leader. So when it says 3 or more, they all of their battle cards have a total of 3 or more. What I believe this means is that you take all of their cards, and then if they have 3 or more keyword skills. I do not believe it means every single card has to have 3 or more keyword skills, because that's almost irrelevant and would almost never happen. So yeah, I think it just means that all of their cards need to have a total of 3 or more for the board for you to be able to activate this effect. Then we have one Final Kamehameha, First Kamehameha. This is, you actually can use this or Final Kamehameha, either one. But this is going to be used after we use Manifestation Frenzy. So you're generally going to plop this card down and then go into this probably during your opponent's turn. And then the turn after, you can play this now to set up for going for game or just for more defense. All right, so back to the main deck here. So we have the 4 2-drop Cumbers, 4 of the Trunks, and 4 of the Vegeta. These are your free plays. Trunks plays for free on your opponent's board. Search top 5 for the My Future card that costs, it's like a 1 cost, or any Black Saiyan that is not copies of this card, add it to your hand. And then this card's played on your opponent's board. They draw a card and discard 1, which is kind of weird that they actually get an effect off it. I don't know why they made that thing, but this card and the Vegeta both have 1 cost on their combos, meaning your opponent cannot combo these off unless they pay 1 energy, or they're also playing Cumber, and then the Prison Planet will reduce it by 1. Vegeta also is a negate, by the way. So once you are awoken, because your leader is an evil Saiyan on the front side, he goes into Cumber. Once you are a Cumber leader, you can activate this card once per turn from your hand without paying its energy cost, and it's just a hard negate. So it's a hard negate. They get a 10k body that has blocker, but you can always just remove it the next turn. 2 Son Gohan rares. This is good into red. Being able to combo this card off early. So sometimes, like, if you go first, you just, you place an energy pass. Your opponent plays a battle card. You can combo this off. Tap 1, warp that card. Now you have a Z energy, so then you can go into your food card and go into your normal awaken. This card catches people off guard because no one really uses it for that effect. Everyone kind of focuses on playing it as the negate effect, which is good. But this auto is really powerful. This gives Black a very cool combat trick that sometimes people are just not expecting. So, like the 2 of this is good. You can also run a 3rd one on the side if you end up playing a side deck. 3 Super Saiyan Cumber. This card, so it could be a 4 of. You have a lot of Cumber cards, right? But we needed to cut space, so I ended up cutting 1 of these. This card's not searchable anyways, which is kind of a dumb thing, but you tap 1, you put a Cumber from your drop or your warp underneath this, you warp a battle card ignoring barrier, with less or equal to the cards in your Z deck, which you have 10, so you have 9, probably when you play this card. So you can warp, anything that's a 9 cost or less, and then you can detach the card if you have 4 more energy, and then gains double strike. So it's a very, very good card, but 3 I think is plenty. Just because your deck runs so many Cumber cards, and again, you just have to fit other cards into the deck. You can also cut this down to 3 and then run a 4th of the other Cumber, but I think this is great because this card actually now searches the Cumber, so running 4 of it, I don't think it's fully necessary. 1 Fu Scheming Overlord. So this will make sense here in a minute, but this is a 2 cost. You play it if your leader's Cumber. It's a crit Overlord that can also take one of your opponent's cards that costs 3 or less. That's a non-black card. This is pretty cool. There's a card we actually have now in the Cumber deck that can play this card from the deck, which is really cool. We have the promo Fu. I remember when this card used to be like 25 bucks. It's Overlord that draws a card when you play it, and then also has Overlord, so it's going to draw a card whenever you use Overlord. This could be a 1-drop draw 2 that also has a bit of removal onto it as well. 2 of the Furious Frenzy Cumbers gives anything servant on play, and then it's a 19k dual attacker. It's a cool card, but again, now we just have more Cumber cards to play. We don't need to run this card as a 4-of. We have 2 of the Champ Cumber, Extreme Offense. Draws a card on play. If you have a Fu card in play and your leader's black, and then on play it draws a card, gives one of your opponents a servant until the end of the turn. Then if your leader's black Cumber, when this card attacks, you get the combo with a servant card on their board. So what's this cool about this is that you can use like your leader effect. Let's say you have like a Vegeta on board, right? You can use the leader effect, give the Vegeta or the Trunks servant, swing with the Cumber, and then combo that off, and now you get to fill your own Z energy. So you always don't have to combo off your opponent's cards. You can combo off your cards as well, just so you can get the extra combo power off of them, and just you also get the Z energy. We have the new Great Ape Cumber, Gigantic Combatant. So this is kind of why we sort of reduced the other cards in the deck. It's a 1-drop. You have to place one of your non-Great Ape Cumber battle cards. You remove it from the game. You play the card from your hand. When this card attacks, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards with a keyword skill, ignoring barrier. Use it in a combo in your combo area. Why this is amazing, so now we actually have another way of removing barrier. We can just play this card and then just swing, and then we can choose the card that has barrier since it's the keyword skill, and then just combo it off. And this is it's insane. You also like the fact that they printed this card. It's great. I wish it would have some form of keyword skill, like some sort of like crit or something, but a 30k body that removes something ignoring barrier that also combos with it is excellent. You also can place this card on the drop, and then you get to play a black Fu that costs 4 or 5 from your deck or your drop, and then that card gains barrier until the end of your opponent's next turn. So you can actually play either one of these Fus here. Like I said, you can play this guy, the 4-drop here, or you can play this guy, which on play would steal a non-black 3 cost or less. So then it also gains barrier, so it becomes a 20k Overlord crit barrier. That's pretty solid. For 1 energy, you get a 30k attack and then a 20k attack crit that can also draw you a card that also plays another card that steals a card. So this is like a +4 if you think about it in that sense. And this is really good. It's also from the drop as well, so you don't just combo this card off and then just use this and then just play from the drop. 2 Super Fu. This plays a 7-cost Cumber out from your drop or your Z deck face up. The Z deck part doesn't work because we're not the Fu leader, but we can play this from our hand. We can play out either this 7-cost here, or we can play out the Extreme Offense here. Now what this does, this is a 25k dual attacker that has Overlord, and then once per turn you give one of your black Cumber battle cards Servant. What's cool is that since none of these 4 Cumber cards actually have Servant here, you can give any of these guys Servant. So you can make this guy a 35k double striker, you can make this guy a 40k swing, and make this guy a 25k, you can make this guy a 29k dual attacker. And again, it has Overlord, so you have another card you can just use for more bottom decking, and it's the value from this card is incredible. 2 is, I think, a minimum. Probably 3 is a max. It probably just depends on the format at that particular time. You might end up running a 3rd one. 3 of the Goku and Vegeta combo attack. This is a combo card that we can use in the middle of the game to kind of extend our turns. Overwhelm 4, I think, is perfect. Outside of maybe Secret ID, none of the other Overwhelm cards actually should really be played in this deck, because 6 is a lot. You don't really fill your drop area that fast. This card draws you a card and then also will give you a Z energy at the end of the battle. So this just allows you to just fill your Z energy up even more, which will allow you to go into your Z leader or your Z extra card, so then you can go into your Z leader. 2 Berserker Barrage. This is the 8-drop that you saw from earlier with the 2-drop. So technically you can play this for 2, or you can play it for 1 off of the 2-drop, which is crazy. Cards played, you draw a card, then you choose any number of your opponent's battle cards, and those cards gain Servant until the end of your next turn, and then it gains either dual attack, double strike, or triple strike. Your big boss monster now just got 1 energy cheaper. Technically it's 1 energy cheaper, so you're technically playing, well, actually it's the same energy, but you're probably not going to do it on the same turn. So that's why it kind of becomes cheaper, right? Like you can play this underneath the Fu, swing with it, and then let's say like the next turn, you know, it stays on board, you can play this card on top of it. It is the same energy, you know, so you are paying 2, but just another level sequencing that you have for it. So just another good card, and the fact that these cards are now searchable off of this guy here is crazy. This just makes it so much easier. Now we actually can search our deck and grab these 7 and 8 costs, so we don't always just have to be locked into just grabbing the 6 cost or grabbing other cards in our deck. One crack, because we are a black Saiyan, so we do play crack in space time. This is our secret rare here, is Pan. So if you play this deck and you are using Evil Saiyan, you're not playing the deck correctly. It's just being nice. That is not the secret rare for this deck, unfortunately. It is too much energy. Even with with the reductions that we've had in the deck now, paying 2 for that card is just not worth it in this deck. There are 2 very good secret rares to play in this deck. I would say technically 3, but 2 more so that you should play. One would be Bursting Rage, but now because we can go into our Z leader for basically for free, Bursting Rage is almost not needed. Pan is a much better card. So Pan allows us to have a Floodgate, which is black, seriously lax, but also gives us a free 40k swing, right? You're going to be able to spam the board out with cards, and this card is eventually going to be free, and just being able to slam down a 40k plus an Overwhelm plus your leader swing plus the other cards you have on board, this is going to allow you to sort of outpace your opponent later in the game. And then also just having a Floodgate, right? Just having a Floodgate, like you can play this Floodgate and then just, combo out of an attack. Now they can't attack with more battle cards. So I can see this card becoming more viable as the sets go on, just as being like a very good utility secret rare. And it's going to catch people off guard because no one's going to really expect you to be playing Pan in this deck. The other secret rare, so I did bring up the second secret rare. So the other secret rare, other than Bursting Rage, that could make sense would be the new Goku, Apex of Origin, or Origin of Apex, whatever that card's called, from the new set that has Frieza and Goku on it. That is also a free play that will warp the board, and then you could also use it to combo cards. So that's also another secret they can play. One of those 2 would probably be the best to play, and then a backup would be like Bursting Rage if you don't have either one of those. 2 Bardock the Tenacious, searchable Floodgate, Overwhelm, cost 1 energy, Floodgate your opponent for in for the next turn. They get 1 battle card attack. Very solid. Being searchable as well. Like most of this deck, actually now all of this deck except for the Fu is outside of the Fu, the Pan, and the Kraken Space Time so far. Every other card in this deck is searchable, either by Trunks and Evil Saiyan or by the Cumber becoming the strongest. So we have 2 petrification because we are a black deck. We're going to abuse this card. 2 unexpected turn. This is a card that works super well in this deck, considering you're giving your opponent cards. On top of them playing cards, this is going to allow you to hit almost any card in the game, right? So in yellow now they're going to be abusing the Gogeta GT like U7 combo. I think it's what a lot of the yellow decks are doing. This allows you to basically stop that. You can hit their Golden Frieza before it comes down. You also can hit the GT secret rare, even though they'll still get the markers. You can still hit that card. This is really good. This will probably always be in the main board at some point, and it's going to catch people off guard. It's going to be very unexpected sometimes when it does hit them. 1 Explosion of Malice. This is a card that I don't think any Cumber players have actually played before. So if your leader's Cumber, you negate the attack, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, and you give it Servant. Why this is good is now with the effects of this card here, this allows us to bait our opponent. So let's say they have like I don't know, like let's say they have Xenocell, right? Or just some big card that doesn't have barrier. You can negate with Explosion of Malice. They get Servant. Now if they decide to swing again, you can just quickly go into using Manifestation Frenzy, go into the Z leader, and now you can combo the card off. Also, it's just a very solid negate for 1 energy, right? It's not a body, so they can't Koitsukai, which a lot of your negates, with like Token Negate here, you have Token Negate and Vegeta and Gohan. These are all hit by Koitsukai. This is another negate that obviously is just an extra card, so it doesn't, it just kind of gets around that. So this is the list that I have. I will probably be playing this deck exclusively once this comes out, unless there's something that's really crazy that comes out in set 26 to play, but this is probably the deck that I'm going to be playing. I probably will tweak the ratios a little bit depending on what other comes out and after I do a little bit of play testing, but 55 cards is pretty normal for this deck, and yeah, it seems really strong. So I would give it a shot on Untap if you are a fan of the Cumber leader, and let me know what you guys think. As always, thank you guys for supporting and watching. If you guys do like the channel, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Every little bit helps, and I will see you guys in the next video.